G'day guys, how you going? Welcome to the Social Media Blueprint SMB Alive and Kicking podcast. I don't know what happened then. We didn't get the countdown, so Nate's given me the keys to the castle this week for this episode. He was in the first episode. He had it under control. I've somehow messed the intro up, but it doesn't matter. We're here. I'm your host, Graham Solomon, and welcome to anyone that's new watching the SMB Alive and Kicking podcast. This is technically episode 2. We did episode 1 as the launch on Tuesday. And for anyone that missed it, the founder of Social Media Blueprint, Nate Armstrong, come in. He went through, gave us a 30,000 feet overview of Social Media Blueprint, how it started, where it come from, how it evolved, and where it is today. So, guys, if you're watching on Facebook, smash the like button, smash the heart button, and remember to jump in the chat. I've got all the levers here. I'm trying to work them all out at the moment, but there's a live chat going. So jump in the chat, yell out, ask any questions, make some comments. Let's make this interactive. This is going to be an interactive podcast. We're on StreamYard, which is new to me. So there is ways that I can bring people in up on the camera in the studio. So we'll work that out. So in the next couple of episodes, we're going to get people in. We're going to be really interactive. So we're trying to build a real community here. Now it's coming straight out of the, I'll just check on my phone here because I had it, the Social Media Blueprint Proven Systems to Land Real Estate Deals Using Social Media. That's the Facebook group. So we're going to operate mainly out of that and out of YouTube. So go to Social Media Blueprint on YouTube, smash the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so that when we go live with the countdown next time, you can jump in and you can be part of the family. So we're trying to build a real interactive community here. Now, guys, we've got so much to get through today. We've got some really good topics. Now, because we started from the start last week, I thought, well, what we'll talk about, and this is something that Social Media Blueprint teach, is very first module and most, hey, how you going? We've got Patrick Yepes is in, and I noticed he's in. I can see him in the studio, so I'm going to grab him in. He's a great friend of mine. Now, what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to talk just briefly about mindset, because mindset is very important. And I know you guys go, no, look, every time I go somewhere, we talk about mindset. It's not that you don't know the mindset hacks. What it is we get lazy and we let things drop off. So we're just going to talk about mindset. I'm going to give you my 5 gold nuggets of what I learned through some of the coaches at Social Media Blueprint, who they said, you've got to do this every day. You can tailor it to yourself. So we're going to go through that in a minute. And then we're going to move on to a topic, and this is something we can do straight away. It's how we're going to network, build a network, because today, especially after 2 years of COVID, networking becomes so popular in this industry through being virtual all the time. So the virtual wholesaling blew up, virtual investing blew up. You know, I'm overseas. There's so many people I know now that are overseas that are doing US real estate. So it's so important. You've got to network. If you're going from state to state, city to city, you've got to have networks. And social media is the leading way to create new connections and collaborate with people. And, you know, same thing with Zoom and all that sort of stuff. It's right at your fingertips now. So there's no better time in history to be able to network. And everyone knows the old saying, your network is your net worth. So we're going to go into that. And I've got Patrick there. Patrick is known as the king of networking. I'm actually in one of his Facebook networking groups. We had actually a podcasting meetup yesterday, and there was about 50 people in there, and not all of them were podcasters. Other were people from within the network. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. And that's what I'm going to give you some tips and tricks, how to set these up yourself. If you're starting from scratch, you just start on a smaller level, and how you can use Facebook, how you can use Instagram, how you can use even Twitter and TikTok to start networking and start building your network up right across the country for your real estate business. So let's get into it. Now, what I've wanted to also say was, this is, you know, Social Media Blueprint podcast, SMB Alive and Kicking. So I just wanted to go in, you know, why I, you know, shout from the rooftops about Social Media Blueprint. Why am I here? I'm a former student, and my experience was amazing. And talking about network, I networked super hard with the coaches and the students, and have networked even further out of there. So I'm just an average guy. I come from a working class background. I've got no skills in business and media and all this sort of stuff, but I've had to learn and I've had to jump on the bike. And what I learned from the team was amazing. And some of the things, that I like about being in the social media blueprint family is they play at a high level. They encourage you to come in and they say, look, it's like sport, Graham. If you're at a local club, you're just playing at that level. If you step up to the high, to NBL, anything like that, you've got to play at a higher level. You've got to train at a higher level and you've got to push yourself. And once you get on that level, then you're used to that level. If you drop back from there, you're at a super high level compared to everyone else. So you've got to play at a high level, and real estate's no different. We all know people that have been around for years, people that are new, know how challenging it can be, the ups and downs. Nate told the story of, it wasn't all rainbows and unicorns for Nate. Nate got knocked around, clipped around the ear pretty early in his career, lost what he'd already built up, spent a lot of time building up, and had to rebuild. So even the greats in the industry and people that are doing really well in the industry will tell you, it can be tough at times. So you've really got to work on your mindset. Now, I'm going to jump straight into, I'm going to go hit the point forms, and then I want to actually, because Patrick's, I want to get Patrick in to talk with me about networking. This is from one of the coaches, the head of coaching, Chris Strickland. He told me this early days. He said, Graham, what you got to do is just do, even if you just do your top 5 goals in point form, you need to write them out every day. No point putting them on the wall. No point going, look up, because you don't look at them. You get distracted. Physically write them out in the morning. Write them out 3 times a day if you can, but at least write them out 1 time a day and just do them in point form. And then your mind just focuses. And he learned that off a mentor when he was really young. And Chris has done over 1,600 deals in his real estate business. So the proof's in the pudding there. I know Nate's very big on it, and they teach having a routine where you do stuff like this. So that's number 1. Write your goals down every day. If you've got a big goal sheet, just break them down into point form and go from there. The second one is a morning routine. You've got to have a morning routine. You've got to start the day in a good state. Anthony Robbins talks about building a good state. You've got to start in a good state. If you get up and you having a shower and your hair's everywhere and you've got to rush out and that, you just don't feel right. And it's all about preparing yourself for the day. So if you have a good start to the day, you generally can take everything on board. You can handle anything that comes across your path. If you have a bad start, things go south and you have a terrible day. So that is within all of our control. That's what we can do. The next one is some quiet time. Now, this can be during the day, and it's the same with writing your goals. And you can do it 3 times. You might have 3 breaks during the day where you write your goals down. The third one is affirmations, prayer, whatever you use to get in a quiet place and just think and contemplate about what you want to do, how you want things to map out for the day. And then at the end of the day, I know some people that actually sit down at the end of the day and find a quiet place and just think through all the things that they did during the day and what they could have done differently, what they could have done better, what they did really well. And they do that as a daily routine. So once you start forming habits, they're called success habits. That's when things just becomes imprinted on your subconscious mind, and away you go. So there's one there. Another one is organization. Now, this is something I was in a trade business for 30 years. I was a tradie for 35 years. We used to run our businesses off the back of a cigarette packet and a carton of beer. So we were guilty of that, especially in the younger days. Now, what I've learned is, especially coming into the program myself, was Google Calendar, KPI sheets, to be able to measure what you're doing. Because if you can't measure it, you can't manage it, and you don't know where things are going wrong. So you've got to be organized. Now, if you have your 3 breaks during the day, organize yourself. If you're going to have your Google Calendar done on Sunday night so that you can just add little bits and pieces, and it's not a huge job during the week. So just organization's a massive thing, guys. And the last one is self-care. You've got to take care of yourself. You've got to have a bit of fun. You've got to enjoy yourself, and you've got to be passionate about what you do. You've got to, if real estate's not your thing, you're probably better off getting into Bitcoin or something. But if you are passionate and you just bounce out of bed every morning, that's where you have success. That's where, and one of the biggest things that I know this is an overused term, what is your why? What is your why? Dig down deep and find out what your why is. I know a guy that is a mentor of Nate's and mine that we love is Dean Graziosi. He's got a thing called 7 levels down, where you go down 7 levels with questioning, and it brings out your why. Now, I could probably whack that in the notes, or even next week go over it, but that is amazing. And I did it, and my why popped up, and it completely changed my life. So if you can find something like that to drag out your why, and it's not just I want money, I want the deeper things, that drive you. If you can find out what drives you and you can activate it, there's an old saying, if you love what you do, you never have to work another day in your life. And I know there's a lot of people in real estate that live by that mantra. So that's something to get into. So find your why. And this is something that the coaches at Social Media Blueprint taught me, was find your superpower. I was off trying to learn tech. I lost 6 months of my life trying to learn texting platforms and this and that. And tech was just not my thing. And it wasn't until I was halfway through the program that, a couple of coaches had influence on me and said, Graham, you're a people person. Why aren't you on the phone talking to people all the time? Why are you trying to do all this? And why aren't you trying to build connections? And this is where we'll go into networking and the value of networking. Find your superpower. If you're a tech head, or if you're a massive tech head, do tech, double down on what you're good at, and then maybe partner up with someone like myself that just goes out and talks to people and communicates and goes out kissing babies and shaking hands. That's what it's all about. So build relationships, guys, and double down on your strengths. I think it's Gary Vee says he teaches people to double, triple down on their strengths and outsource and delegate what they're not good at. And I had an interesting conversation with someone this morning about that particular topic. They are looking at tech stuff and taking some tech stuff out of my hands, which I'm like, you had me at hello. So that's amazing. Now, guys, I interviewed someone who's a coach the other week, and they use the 3 Fs. And I said, well, I use the 4th F, but I can't say this is a family thing. But the 3 Fs are fear, frustration, and failure. Now, this is about mindset. This is about reframing what you're doing, and fear. You've got to challenge your fears. Now, if you've got a big why and you're organized and you're right, and you can attack your fears a lot better. And sometimes fears, once you break through your fears, there's a saying, everything you want to achieve is on the other side of fear. So you've got to learn to embrace fear, and you've got to learn to push yourself. And some people, say that it's to be brave is not to be not scared. It is to be scared, but still push yourself through anyway. Now, that's bravery, because you don't give up and you just keep pushing through. So frustration is another thing. Now, I found that with tech. Now, I get frustrated, but it has actually forced me to have to learn even to navigate what I'm up to now. I'd never turned a computer on before 2 years ago. I was never on Facebook. I was never doing any of that stuff. And I've had to really, learn that. Now, I don't want to become a tech genius. It's not me. But I've had to learn how to get to this point. So sometimes frustration can be a driving force for you. You get frustrated and you've got to push through it. And failure. Now, we all know about failure. We talk about failing forward. We fail forward. Now, what that means is any successful person you talk about, they'll give you a list as long as they're armed with the failures, but they've been able to reframe them into what they learned from that failure and how they've been able to use it to drive them forward. Now, that's called experience. That's called, the old 10,000 hours in the game. How many failures do you have from there? Now, if you give up every time you have a failure, you wouldn't get off the ground. You'd still be laying on the ground from when you're a little infant trying to walk. So you've got to get through your failures. So there you go, guys. That's sort of the stuff we've got to work on, mindset. And the thing with mindset is people go, I don't want to listen to this. So every seminar I go to or everything I listen to is mindset. It's not that you don't know it. It's about sometimes even successful people, they might get busy. They'll go away with the family. They'll do something and they'll drop off a few little things from their routine. And within a couple of weeks, they activate and they go, wow, I'm not playing at a high level now. I've dropped off on a few things. I've got to get back. So it's about learning to have a default mechanism to drop back in, because we all go through hard things in life. Every single person has ups and downs. You might have a death in the family. You might have a relationship breakup. You may have a disability from an accident. Everyone's got something in their life going on, and we've just come out of 2 years of COVID, and there's a lot of people that have had bad incidents from that, and we all have stuff. So we've got to learn how to reframe it and to move on. So anyway, that's enough. I won't bash it too much with that. Like I said, your why and your superpower, they're two things that I encourage you to find out so that you can get to that next level and play a bit higher. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get on to how to network. Now, I actually started a Facebook group that I was in. I was really slack in the course. I said, I don't want to have a Facebook group. I'm in another country. Who's going to join my group? And the coaches said, no, the part of it is you've got to start your own Facebook group. And I thought, I'll probably have about 3 people in there, 3 guys from down the pub down the road, and that's about it, But I actually started a Facebook group, and it was very simple. I called it REI Collaborate, Network, and JV, because what I needed as an international and someone that was virtual was to have people on the ground. So I started reaching out, and the reason I started that group was because I was having conversations with people, and it was all coming up the same. I'm really good at acquisitions, but I'm no good at dispositions. I'm really good at tech, but I'm no good at talking to people. And I was hearing this all the time as I was reaching out and networking with people. And that's how I ended up starting the group, because I realized that there's powers in number. The way the industry was a couple of years ago before COVID, you do everything yourself. You have your own business, you do everything yourself. But things are moving so fast now with all the virtual markets that people are in now. People, and especially if you're in a highly competitive market, people are going out to other markets. What is happening now is you need to network with people on the ground there. And that's not just other wholesalers, who might do the dispositions if you do the acquisitions. That's also title companies, that's attorneys, that's realtors, that's managing agents. That's you need to create a whole new team in every market that you're in. And this is why I started this group. And it's amazing. I mean, the connections that you make through these groups, and the people that, people will recommend, oh yeah, look, I know someone that's a good attorney in that state because it's an attorney state. So networking for me is probably the most important thing. It's one of those. Real estate is a people industry. It's more about people than the house. So networking is super important. Now I've got a list of a couple of things that I thought would be like a trigger point for top 5 ways to use social media to reach out. Now, I think we all know Facebook. We're in Facebook groups. That's how you got here. That's how, we're all in multiple Facebook groups. So that's the way that you reach out. It's taken over from the old Craigslist, and you can do it pretty much from anywhere in the world. So it keeps us, at a fingertip to a real estate market and to like-minded people that are into the same thing. So for us, it's real estate. I mean, you might want to join a realtor group because you want to start working with realtors within a certain market. So that's the obvious. That's Captain Obvious, Graham. So we know that that's the number one. Now, the next thing is, like me, an old dinosaur, got onto Facebook, thought, I'm on social media. Look at me go. TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. Now, I know a lot of people my age are saying, it's actually easier than what it looks. I've actually jumped on these platforms, set them all up myself with my tech knowledge, and posting, and they cross pollinate. You can actually, do a post and then move it across to the other platforms. So it's amazing. So you can actually leverage what you're doing by 5, and you're going to have different viewers and different age groups in the different mediums. So get all over it. Join all these things. Get with a group of people that sort of might know what they're doing, and just network with them. And start your own little Zoom group with 5 people to help each other navigate your way through this. Network with people doing that. But these mediums now are the future of where real estate's going, because it's blown up virtually and it's all around the country. Like internationals everywhere from Europe. I know people from Europe. Guy from Serbia, Illy, how you going, mate? And so many people from Israel, from all these countries, are into US real estate virtually. They love it. Obviously, they got they might have some connections to the US, but it is huge, and it's only going to get bigger. Virtual wholesaling and virtual investing, buy and hold, even virtual lease options, seller finance, creative finance. It's taking off. Believe you me, it's getting bigger and bigger. The US market, I bang on about it, is the best real estate market in the world. What you can do in the US, you can't do anywhere else. So, this is where networking and just network right across the United States. Network with people outside the country that may have tech. I mean, we all know a lot of the VAs and that come from overseas countries. So it's no different. Network with someone in Australia that does acquisitions and you do dispositions on the ground. So this is what I'm talking about now. What I'll do is I'll get the king of networking to come in. I've just got to navigate the lever here. I'll bring him in. Oh, hang on. Yeah, unmute him. Add to stream. Unmute. Is that on your side, Patrick, that you've got unmute?
Yes, I'm.
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
G'day, Patrick. Welcome to the SMB Alive and Kicking podcast. Great surprise. The king of networking. I was in a networking thing with you yesterday, and here you are. So I'm super wrapped because, I've got into networking over the last sort of 12 months to 2 years because I've had to. I was always a great networker as a tradesman. I knew a bloke that knew a bloke all the time. I knew something that fell off the back of a truck and legally, but he was selling that cheap because it was broken or whatever. But you actually, I call you the king of networking. I think there's another guy we know, JJ. He's amazing at it too. So I'll try and get him in another time about networking. But Patrick, how did you get into realizing the power of networking? How long have you been networking with people?
Geez, I guess on and off my entire life, and I don't say that to be, truly. I early on in high school, I was a student, a class president 3 years in a row, and student council president. So I guess that was kind of in my nature. So early on, but truthfully, throughout my entire life, in all my businesses, I think networking is, as you said earlier, and I hate to repeat those sayings, but it's so true that your network is truly your net worth. It truly is. But yeah, to answer your question, just pretty much all my life.
I wanted to really emphasize to the audience, this is a really important point. Patrick reached out to me. Patrick's the head of a Facebook networking group. Is there 50 plus?
We've got about 42 or 43 Facebook admins, and my other network, which is close to 500. Some of the top REI, coaches, lead gen experts, influencers. I include you as well as an influencer, and podcast hosts that are part of a larger network that I collaborate with.
Yeah, and see, this is the thing, Patrick. I remember vaguely when you reached out to me initially, I said, yeah, great idea. And I think we become Facebook friends, and I didn't know you, but that sounds like a great idea. And you emailed me a couple of times, and I remember looking at the emails going, I've got to get back to it, and I got distracted. And then the last one, I don't know if I've got time for this. That would have been the biggest missed opportunity of my lifetime. I'm just saying this to the viewers because then the first actual network where we got on Zoom and I just looked at some of the big players out there in the industry. I'm like, wow. And I'm just like, Patrick said, will you introduce yourself, Graham? Everyone was saying their bit and introduce themselves. I said, look, I'm just an Aussie guy. I'm podcasting at the moment, just started off. I'm a bit of a rookie in the space of real estate in the US. Got a bit of a background in Australia. I'm the dumbest guy in the room, and I'm quite happy to be the dumbest guy in the room because you guys are, and a few people laughed and all that, but broke the ice. And from that point on, the amount of people I've met, Patrick, through your network, now I could have missed that opportunity. So I want you to emphasize, because we've spoken about it. You reach out to people all the time and you get ghosted all the time, but you just keep pushing through, don't you? And you're like a terrier. You just keep pushing and you won't give up until someone finally rings you back and says, sorry, I've been busy. And there's always a reason. It's not that it's personal, is there? There's always a reason why people struggle to get back to you.
Yeah, I think we're all so busy. And I guess the fact is that we all know the formula. We really do. We all know the formula. I'm sure you can agree with me that many of us tell our children, to hang out with the right crowd. And we tell them that because the fact is that, you become who you hang out with. And so we know the formula. And the fact is that when we build a network of quality people, we become who we network with. There's an interesting saying, Graham, that eagles don't flock, and you have to intentionally gather the eagles if you want them together. Turkeys flock. So if you want to hang out with a valuable network, if you want to hang out with people, you have to be intentional about meeting people. You have to be intentional about getting out to the world. You have to be intentional about responding to people. You have to be intentional about attending, whether it's masterminds, whether it's meetups or what have you. And if you're intentional, the reward that you get, and I guarantee you, the reward that you get is you get more opportunities to JV as a real estate investor. That's number one. Inevitably you learn more. When you're around people that are quality people, you're going to learn more. And sometimes you learn more almost through osmosis. And lastly, it's just an amazing and incredible way to grow your business and to really affect your bottom line. So, Graham, there's just no doubt of that. I'll mention briefly. There's a saying that your income, and this is in regards to friends, and I think it's also true in regards to your network. And I guess it's a different way of saying that your network is your net worth. There's a saying that your income over a 10-year period is usually within 10% of your 10 closest friends. And I think that's also true of your network. When you're intentional about building a quality network, your income is going to increase. It happens. It's just the reality. And so I encourage all of you that are listening in and to be intentional about networking. It's a very, very powerful way for you to really build your business and really, positively affect your bottom line.
Yeah, and that's become so much more now after COVID, hasn't it? Things have blown up virtually.
Yeah.
Now you have to network. And look, this is the thing. If you're shy, and you can use text message, you can use Messenger. You don't have to do the old, I'll come down the office and we'll sit and have a meeting, or we'll go out for a lunch. You don't have to do that anymore. And there are people that are shy. And once again, partner up with someone that's not shy. It's get them to do all the networking, or get you do all the networking, and they do all the behind the scenes stuff. So it's about forming relationships, and it's about not being a transactional person, but being connected to other human beings and being invested, isn't it? So
it is, and I'll tell you, Graham, when you're intentional about building out a network of quality people around you, and as an investor, when you build connections with other investors, when you build connections with title companies, with attorneys, with people that are in the real estate investment business as coaches or what have you, they're going to think of you. You're going to be top of mind. They're going to think about you. They're going to think about your opportunities, as I mentioned, will open up, JVing opportunities, and maybe some opportunities that you didn't even think were out there. Paths will open up. Windows will open up, doors will open up to you. And that doesn't happen when you're, in your own little island. So I just can't stress enough the power of networking and the power of connecting with other people.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mentioned earlier that, with SMB, Social Media Blueprint, one of their things in their coaching program is to step up to a higher level, get yourself on a higher level. And that's why I talked about preparation for yourself, get yourself in the right mindset. But when you start hanging out, like I said, if you sort of jump in an area and you're not that experienced and there's some big players in there, it's the opposite to the old crab in the bucket analogy. The old people will be the crab tries to get out the bucket and all the other crabs pull it down. But it works in reverse. If you network with people that are maybe halfway up the mountain or climbing up the mountain or got to the top, they're going to drag you up, aren't they? So it's a reverse of the old crab in the bucket analogy. So one thing I learned really early, and that was surround yourself with like-minded people, because there's nothing worse than you being the real estate person on a dinner table and everyone's just like, oh, he's talking real estate. Start going out for dinner with real estate people when you go to the footy or the basketball or whatever, just talk basketball and footy there, but have your group of friends. So surround yourself with like-minded people, and that's networking. And then find people that are further down the track than you and get them to mentor you. So that all has to start from networking. You've got to reach out to these people. You've got to get in. And like you said, Patrick, a lot of this stuff you've got to put, it's like the old build it and they will come. You've got to put the work in for no reward, and the rewards will come later. So it's a reverse again. You don't just get something up front. It's not instant gratification. So you're a big proponent of this. I've seen you do this. You do so much stuff for so many people. I know just within our network, let alone your bigger network. So you basically add value to people all the time, and technically there's nothing in it for you financially or anything. So that's another point. People think, oh, I'm not getting anything out of it. It's not about that. It's about giving and then receiving back at the appropriate time, isn't it?
Yeah, there's an interesting saying. There's a saying we all want to be go-getters, but I think in addition to being a go-getter, if you can be a go-giver, and that's a saying that I've heard recently. I think it's Zig Ziglar who says if you give enough people what they want, you'll get what you want, and it's the truth. And for those folks of you maybe that feel they're newer as an investor, and you feel, geez, maybe you feel intimidated. The fact is that there's people that are at different stages in their career. We're in different stages of our lives, and people that are ahead of you, believe it or not, they need you. They need you as much as you need people that are ahead. Many times to JV, there's people that have their plate full with things, and if they can find somebody maybe has less experience who they could JV with, it's a match for them. And so don't think that if maybe you're newer in the business or you haven't done that many deals that you can't bring value to a heavy player, a big fish in the market, because the fact is that there's a lot of connections, a lot of JVing that happens with those folks that are either OGs, as they say, or maybe they're young people, but they're very advanced in their business, and they need people that are newer who could help them with many parts of the business, specifically in talking about social media blueprint and talking from a real estate investor's point of view, specifically for JV. There's a lot of heavy hitters, a lot of big players that have tons of leads, maybe get tons of deals, but they need somebody to help them dispo those deals, or vice versa. They're great at dispoing deals, but they need help of people to bring in more leads. So don't feel intimidated if you don't feel you're the biggest fish in the pond. You can bring value to a lot of people. So, but that's really important to keep that in mind.
Yeah, that's a really great point too. That's another little gold nugget there. Is that goes back to the superpower. Everyone's got a superpower. Now, if you just bring one thing to the table, and it's actually about, you can't go in with the mindset of, oh, I'm going to network people so I get stuff. You're going to say, well, what can I actually bring to this person? So I'll approach this person. They're over here. I've got something that I can add to them. So then like you said, you reach out to them, and you lead with that. You lead with something positive, that what you can actually help them with. Oh, look, I was just thinking, I wanted to reach out with you. I noticed this and that, and I can help you with that. And that starts the chain of connection. And
absolutely.
And like you said, you're right, Patrick. On the other side of the fence, there's people, they're very time poor, and they're looking for good people to work with all the time. And now, if you're a little bit more experienced, they're quite happy to share things with you, to help fast track you, to help influence you. And I won't name drop, but I've interviewed some people in the podcast that are bigger players and everything, and off camera they're the nicest people, and they've offered me help and all sorts of stuff in certain areas when we've had a conversation, and I've been blown away by it. And I'm talking nearly 100% of the people, and I'm like, wow, this is. It's like peeking over the fence and seeing the other side and going, I would have thought these people would have said, I haven't got time, but they can't do enough for you. So exactly what you're saying, to anyone that's out there that's fairly new, that thinks, oh, who's going to want to network with me? Dig down, find out your superpower, find out what you're good at, and reach out to these people and say, look, how can I add value? Now, you might have to add some value for no monetary gain at first, but if you do that, the long game, and we always say, Patrick, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So play the long game and form these relationships. And it's a funny thing because you may have business intentions to start with, but as you start getting more personal with people, you actually want to help people out. You want to do the right thing by people, and you want to have that servant mentality. And that's something Nate talked about at the launch on Mondays. Just lead with that servant mentality. How can I help people? And it gives you a good feeling. So I know I mean, you're all over that, Patrick. That's one of the things that, how we've sort of networked together and how we've become sort of friends is that you lead with that all the time. You always look to add value all the time. So now let's throw out some gold nuggets. Anyone that's
Sure.
watching the podcast, Patrick, let's throw out some gold nuggets. Let's give maybe the top 5 networking tips, like how to reach out to people, because you're very good at it. Now we know we'll start, like obviously you can email someone or whatever, but give us your top couple. I'll try and add a couple in there as well of how you've found the most effective way to reach people, especially busy people.
Well, I'll start off by saying one thing. Never underestimate what you can add to somebody else. And Graham, you hit on something really important. There's people that are very successful in our industry. And you may think, geez, there's nothing that I can offer that person. But Graham, you alluded to something that we all have a limit of. We may have different amount of money in our accounts, different zeros at the end. But what you'll find is that people that are the most successful in their industry lack one thing, it's time. And you hit the nail right on the head, Graham. And so if you're a newer investor, if you can help, if you're willing to extend yourself out and going back to that JVing opportunity and offer to help a bigger player in the industry, you'd be surprised how willing and how interested they will be to listen to you. So don't think that because you're not an expert that you can't bring value to other people in a network. That's number one. Number two, we're busy, and what I've said. In fact, I've mentioned this to Graham in the past. Really, nobody cares about us. We're worried about our business. We're preoccupied with our family. We're preoccupied with our community, and so make the effort to reach out to people and do it in a consistent way. And don't take offense if somebody, as the saying goes, ghosts you. Sometimes, 99% of the time, it's unintentional. So make that effort. Continue to make the effort, develop a thick skin, and understand that people are really busy. And I've found in the real estate investment community, 99.9% of the people are really great people, and they're interested in growing their business. They're interested in helping. So don't take offense if somebody doesn't answer you right away. Don't take offense if somebody doesn't respond to your email or your DM or what have you. If you approach things from that perspective, you're not going to get let down, and ultimately people will come back, will come around. And whether you want to build your own network or just join other networks, join Facebook groups, reach out to people. They say that the squeaky wheel gets the oil. So if you ask, believe me, if you ask many times, most times you will receive. And I think we've all been guilty at different stages of our lives. Maybe we've been hesitant about asking. We've been hesitant about networking. And I have to stress this again, Graham. The fact is, we know the formula. We know it. We know the formula. And as I said, many times we tell our own children, follow that formula. That how we tell them how important it is to have valuable friends. And so what I want to stress to everybody is develop your network, get valuable people into your network, join those Facebook groups, join those meetups, because you will, guarantee you will get much more out of it than you give.
Yeah, definitely. And like I was saying before, the Facebook group's the obvious one. We're all in, but you've got to push yourself to get on Twitter and all these things. And I've only done it just recently, and post stuff. And it's about reaching out and following someone, and then they follow you, and building up that way. And look, I know when I first started, I didn't know I knew one person in the United States, right? Old cuz up in Fort Worth, Texas, and that was it. Now I had to start from scratch. So I started in Texas. I started just typing in real estate, trying to find people that were in real estate, befriending them, send them a message. Like you said, that got ghosted. I tried the Australian slant. I put an Australian, I'm an Aussie, I'm doing it. Tried that. And it's funny, 6-8 months later, as I was posting and getting more and more into Facebook and posting in groups and that, I started getting messages from these people. And what it is, it's the old like attracts like. Now, it's going to take a bit of a while, like you said, to build this up. So you've got to put that energy out there. And then all of a sudden, if someone sees you out in the market doing something, they go, oh, hang on, who's this guy? I'll message. Oh, hang on. He reached out to me 6 months ago. Do you know what I mean? And then you've got that connection anyway. Oh, sorry, I didn't see your message 6 months ago. But so it's just building the foundation over time. And that's something that people in an instant gratification world don't think of that much. So you can do that on, now you've got all these other mediums. You know, you've got the shorter forms, you've got TikTok and all that. And I mentioned at the launch that there's a guy that I follow on YouTube from his very early days. He's blown up on TikTok. He's blown up on all these platforms in real estate. And I think he's actually been on some pretty big podcasts, and they almost sort of mocked him and laughed at him when he was starting to do it a while ago. And he went, okay, he's blown it away, and it's taken him to that next level because he actually didn't listen to so-called experts at the time. So you've got to be a little bit outrageous there too, don't you? You've got to take some risks. And that's why I started with mindset, Patrick, because you've got to get to that level to push yourself out, you know, to contact people. I know some days you probably don't feel like it, do you? You don't feel like getting out of bed and I've got that thing, but you just got to push yourself and play at that higher level.
You know, you have to get comfortable with feeling uncomfortable. And you know, when you're networking, sometimes you feel uncomfortable. You know, you might be, as I mentioned before, intimidated by the people that might be in a meetup. But you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. When you get comfortable with being uncomfortable is when you start pushing the envelope and when you start expanding. And I think I know successful, not only real estate investors, but successful people in general. You know, they have, you know, several legs to that proverbial stool. But one of those legs, aside from in the real estate investment business, aside from marketing, aside from using social media to drive, whether it's motivated seller leads or whether it's buyers, but really one of those pivotal important, you know, legs of that stool is networking. That's really what will help you catapult your business, and invariably the people that are most successful in our industry are successful because they've mastered several skills. But I guarantee you that every single one of them has a very powerful network that they reach out to be able to grow, you know, to work in real estate, in the real estate investment industry.
Yeah, and when we're talking social media and tech world too, you've got to have websites. You've got to have all these things now. You know, well, you don't have to, but this is where it's heading. So you've got to have people that can help you with social media. You've got to have all these people that can help you. So you've got to form networks in every area. And one of the old classic ones is realtors, say wholesalers. They've banged heads for years. Now they're starting to work out, hang on, we can work together a little bit here. And I know a lot of people that reach out to realtors and say, oh, they didn't get back to me, or realtors that reach out to they ghosted me or whatever. But this is exactly the point you were saying before. You may have to ring realtors or text message realtors or do something 10 times because they are so busy working out, doing stuff that by the time it's not that they don't want to contact you back, but they're so busy trying to make a dollar that they may not, you know, it may not be at the front of their mind. So if you, like you said, the squeaky wheel gets oiled. If you do it 10 times, the people that do it 2 or 3 drop off. And that's the same with motivated sellers. If you follow up 10 times, they're going to go, all right, well, make me an offer then. What? Everyone else has dropped off. So that is the key golden rule in networking is you've got to just keep pushing through and not take it personally and just
be consistent about it. Be consistent about expanding your network. Be consistent about meeting as a real estate investor, meeting other investors. Be consistent about meeting attorneys, about meeting owners of title companies. Be consistent about it. The fact is that when you stay by networking, you can stay top of mind. And when somebody thinks about a JV, a deal, a fix and flip, they're going to think about you, and that's what ultimately is. That's what you want to do. You want to work that those three legs of that stool. You want to market. You want to work social media. You want to have a good team, that a good acquisitions team and a dispositions team. But among those things, one of those, as I mentioned, is networking. That's something you have to be consistent as well about.
And the importance of networking, I mean, we know it because we love networking and we use it more than other means, even in real estate, in all areas. And the thing being, Patrick, is you can use all the same tools. You can mass text people, and you can have follow-up campaigns that the realtor gets 10 texts by the time. And then you do, you can have cold callers. You can have cold callers ring up and say, hey, I'd like to, I know you're busy. Patrick, my the investor I work for wants to book a meeting with you, but he doesn't want to hassle you, because you can outsource that for $4 an hour or whatever, so that you're not on the phone the whole time. You can use all these same tools to build up your networks that you use for real estate investing to get motivated sellers or to build buyers lists and everything.
Yes, and I think what you'll find, even from this, from our conversation today, for those of you that that are seeing it now or will see it in the future, I guarantee you 99% of the people are not going to do anything. Which means if you're among that 1% or 2% that makes a commitment to intentionally build your network, it's easy, because most people they realize there's value in it, but we're so caught up with so many of the things that we do, kind of leave it at the back burner. If you're intentional about it, again, you're top of mind. You're going to be the go-to person for a lot of opportunities that present themselves to the people that are in your network. So I just can't impress enough the importance of the power of networking and building your network.
Yeah, and when you network, Patrick, one of the important tips, and you would 100% back this up, is so you go to a meetup. If you go to a face-to-face meetup or a conference or something, there's all these people there, and they say, "Oh, what do you do, Patrick?" You don't sort of lead with, "Oh, I'm in real estate." You say, "What I do is I build portfolios for buy and hold." You know what I mean? It's the way you present yourself. Rehearse it. Practice before you go to these.
Rehearse your elevator pitch.
Yeah.
And piggybacking on what I just said before, or rather what Graham said, post-COVID, it's so natural to meet on Zoom. It's so natural to have to attend online events, and it's so easy for you to be able to network with 10 people in a day. Before COVID, and I think before we all felt very comfortable being on Zoom or being on a Google Meet. If you were networking with somebody and you met them personally, you might be able to meet 3 or 4 people in a day. So leverage the power of Zoom, leverage the power of the fact that, we've all become so comfortable speaking to each other the way we're doing right now. And that really, by leveraging that, you really can meet a lot of people and be more, and you can stay connected with more people on a more consistent basis. So we're blessed in that respect.
Yeah, and get yourself some basic tools. I mean, even if you start from scratch with them, get Podio, where you can do mass emails. I know there's all the information's out there. You can go and get it free from YouTube. What to do, how to attract realtors, how to attract other wholesalers, how to attract motivated sellers, all this stuff in real estate. But you've got to do it. Like you said, you've got to actually do it. And if you just put a couple of things in place like that, a very simple, cheap text platform, and that you can, and it's automated, you can be off following up on the phone calls of the people that get back to you while the automation is happening. So
in the background,
it's just about, like you said, actioning what you've got to do. And that's why I started with mindset, because you've got to get yourself in a mindset that this is important. This is one of the most important things. The direct contact with other human beings will get you a lot further than if you just hide in the back stalls. So, and you're a testament to that, Patrick. You're
Thanks,
king of networking, and I'm glad you could jump on and just share some of your knowledge with us.
My pleasure.
I want people just to, I know it sounds like, oh yeah, I've heard that before and I've heard the mindset. go back and listen to some of the key points that Patrick said, because he uses this every day. And I was in a networking group yesterday with Patrick. There was about 50 people there, and it was an amazing day. And then everyone jumped off, and then everyone started sending emails to each other and connecting, and that's what you got to do now. If you're new, start your own one. Get in some Facebook groups, hit some profiles of people that are commenting. So, oh, they look interesting. Look at their profile. Go, yep. Reach out to them, and then a month down the track, get a Zoom call with 10 people that are very like-minded. Maybe might be in the same market or might be into dispositions like you are. Get a networking group. Create your own networking group. I mean, just do it on Zoom, and it just starts momentum. And momentum is what gets you motivated and gets you to keep pushing through. Because, like Patrick says, only 1-2% people action a lot of this stuff. All the information. I mean, the YouTube University is packed. You can get stuff for free, but it's about actioning it. So
exactly. And just want to finish off just with one thing. If anybody has any questions in regards to what we just spoke about, if you like, if you want to pick my brain and you'd like me to help you out or share some more information, you can reach me at Patrick Yepes. That's my last name. So it's Patrick. My last name is Y-E-P like Patrick, E-Z. So it's PatrickYepes.me. I'm not selling anything. I don't charge anything. Reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to share any advice that I may have for you.
And that's what it's all about. Just networking. And reach out to Patrick. Great networker. Within the social media blueprint, great networkers in there. They teach that. They teach you how to reach out and network. And you look around at the successful coaching programs, the successful entrepreneurs that are leading companies like Nate, the founder that was in here the other day, like Patrick, who's a leader in his field. You look at them and they just network. They're just constantly talking to people. They're constantly on Zoom calls. And they love it. They love it. They have a laugh. They have a good time, and they do business and form relationships. So reach out to Patrick. I appreciate you jumping in.
Thank
Patrick,
you, Graham.
jumping into the call. That's fantastic. Any viewers that are watching, if you've got a question, just chuck it in the chat if you want to ask Patrick before we sign out anything. But if not, reach out to him. Reach out to him on Facebook or send him a message or something. Now, Patrick, the other thing I also wanted to talk to you about with networking was you don't necessarily need to, like if you're in real estate, you don't necessarily need to network with other people that are exactly the same as you, do you? You may want to reach out with some, say if you're a wholesaler, you might want to reach out with some realtors, reach out with some creative finance people, reach out with someone that does
short sales, for example.
You can reach out
to people that do short sales. Exactly.
Build a community where if you can't do something with a deal or a lead, you pass it on. You get a what do we call them, a marketing fee or whatever.
A referral. Yeah. If maybe there's a task or homework that I would give everybody, reach out to somebody in your that and if you don't know about someone, ask. But I would get somebody that's maybe a short sale expert. I would get somebody or that does short sales. I would get a real estate agent. I would get an insurance person, somebody that sells insurance. I would get somebody that's maybe, if you're great at acquisition, somebody that's great at dispoing. And then I would get that meeting together. If you get 4 or 5 people, it's not a big feat. It's something you can do, and meet once a month, once every twice a month, and you start building on that. You'd be amazed at how much business you can create just from a small networking group. It's really impressive, and I've seen it. I've seen it where folks in my network have done that, and they say, Tony Opie comes to mind. He's in insurance, and he set up a small network about 3 or 4 months ago. Did a networking event with about 12 or 14 people. He said, Patrick, I don't have time to put on another one because everybody sent me so much business. I'm so busy. So it happens. It just happens.
Yeah, the proof's in the pudding. Okay, guys, or the viewers or anyone watch this, hit the heart button, the thumbs up button for Patrick for jumping in. appreciate you jumping in, Patrick, because like
My
I said,
pleasure.
you have been in this networking game, and I could go into your credentials and that, but I'd just blow people away. So we just appreciate you coming in and sharing a few little nuggets for us.
My
And
pleasure.
yeah, if you want to reach out to Patrick, reach out to him. Remember, if you want to see people that jump in, we're going to be more interactive next couple of weeks as we get things going. Go to the Social Media Blueprint YouTube channel, smash the subscribe button. I know Patrick might have already done it, or he's going to do it. He's in the Facebook group as well, the Social Media Blueprint Facebook group, because he's out there networking. You know, he does it. You know, he lives it and he breathes it. So do what Patrick does. Listen to some of his gold nuggets. You know, replay it. And thanks, Patrick. I'll let you go. I appreciate.
Thank
I know
you.
you're a
Thank
busy
you,
man.
Graham.
You've probably got a Zoom call to go to now in the network group. So thank
Very
you for
well.
jumping in and adding
Thank you,
value to our call. All right, mate.
Thanks so much.
I'll catch you later.
Bye-bye.
Okay, there you go, guys. There's the king of networking. I personally know Patrick. He's a great networker. And like I said, you know, jump in, subscribe. We're gonna have people coming in and out of the show. It's gonna be like almost like a green room that we do the show from the green room. There's going to be people coming in, sitting down on the couch, having a coffee, having a chat with us. If you yourself want to jump in, I will next Tuesday. We're going to have a guest speaker in. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get people. If people want to come in on screen as well, I'm going to try and get. I'm going to work out with the tech people how to do that. Interactive in the chat. We want to get this more interactive. You know, you can come in today and ask Patrick about, well, in this situation, how would I network? And Patrick can answer the question live here. Like, he's an expert in it. It's like how we had Nate on Tuesday. If you wanted to ask Nate questions that I can't answer because I haven't got his experience and his knowledge, you can come in and ask him live. So, you know, please, we'll you know, like I said, we're just we've got the training wheels on at the moment. Nate's given me the keys to the castle, so I haven't broken anything yet. So we're just getting up and running, but make this as interactive as we can. And, you know, I'll shout out to all the Social Media Blueprint coaches. If you're Friday afternoon, especially on the Fridays, if it's 5 o'clock where you are or 4 o'clock Central Standard Time, and you're just knocking off work, jump in, come in and have a chat to the viewers. And if you're watching it on replay, still hit the like button, still hit the heart button, still leave comments. I can reach out to Patrick. I can reply to your comments. We'll still answer the comments. And, you know, and like, it's going to take a couple of weeks to build up an interactive. We want it to be like a bit of a talk show, especially on the Friday. We'll have the guest in on the Tuesday who specializes in, you know, certain areas of social media, how to up your game in social media, how to grow your business through social media. But for, Fridays, we want to have a bit more interactive, so it's almost like a bit of a talk back, so you can get to Q&A and ask questions and everything. So we've gone a bit over because Patrick jumped on in the chat and then jumped on the screen. So we're up near an hour. So I better pull the pin. But, you know, please don't tell Nate that we you know, didn't do the countdown. He nearly caught me having a snooze yesterday. I don't know if you saw the intro that I did yesterday. So, you know, I've still got my training wheels on. So please, you know, I don't want Nate to see all these mistakes, but we're going to get better and better each week as we go. And we're going to up the game. We're going to play at a high level like Nate and the coaches tell us to do. We're going to play at a high level and we're going to make it more interactive. So once again, I'll shout it out from the rooftops. Go to Social Media Blueprint in YouTube, smash the subscribe button, hit the bell button, hit the like button and the heart button on Facebook. Now, look, befriend me. If you see this, befriend me I'm on TikTok now. I'm on Instagram, and I've got my own Facebook group, which I'm not here to promote my Facebook group, but it's about networking connections. So reach out to me. You know, you can get me on Facebook, Graham Solomon. Just look up Graham Solomon. You'll see the mug, the same mug on the screenshot. Reach out to me, and I can get you into the networking group. I hook people up through the group all over the country. If someone reaches out to me and I say, oh, yeah, so I do a bit of it myself. We post in the group, and it's all, you can advertise your Facebook group in there. There's no holds bar. It's about connecting people together. That's what it's about. There's no, you know, there's no other reason. It's just for investors to be able to connect. And our goal is to build the numbers and to network. But that's not why we're here. So I don't want to push that, or else, like I said, if Nate sees this, I'll probably lose the keys to the castle. we want you to jump in the Social Media Blueprint Facebook group. Look out for it. It's got Nate on the cover pointing up. I think he's doing a seminar or something. There's 9,000 members in there already. We want to grow that, and we want to grow this community so we can add value to it, so that we can, a lot of the people in there are very experienced. We'll try and get some of those people in to share some of their gold nuggets. So jump in. We've just hit an hour, so I'll sign out, guys. Thank you for joining me for episode 2 of Social Media Blueprint, SMB Alive and Kicking. And our goal here is, as a real estate investor, to jump in here, join the family, and get your business alive and kicking, guys. So for now, thanks for joining us. Thanks for, if you watch the replay, and thanks for any input. And thanks to Patrick Yepes for jumping in. And have a great weekend, guys. Signing out from Graham. And we will catch you on Tuesday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. See you then. I'll have a special guest lined up for you, so I'll see you then. All right.